Everyone. Let me start with a question. If I told you that one simple habit could change your life, unlock opportunities, and make you unstoppable, would you believe me? It's because it's true. And that habit is educating yourself every single day, not just in a classroom, not just for a degree, but as a way of life. The most successful people in the world don't stop learning after school. They make learning a daily habit. Today, I want you to think about something. What happens when you stop learning? You stop growing. The world is moving at lightning speed, and if we don't keep up, we fall behind. So, are you ready to be left behind, or do you want to be the one who leads? That choice starts with educating yourself every single day. Let's break the myth. Education is not just about books, grades, or certificates. It's about experiences, curiosity, and asking the right questions. It's about being hungry to know more, to do more, and to be more. You don't need a classroom to learn. The world is your classroom. Every conversation, every failure, every challenge teaches you something, but only if you're willing to learn. Think about the greatest minds, leaders, entrepreneurs, changemakers. What sets them apart? Their hunger for knowledge, their ability to adapt, to reinvent, to evolve. And you? You have that same power. But the question is, will you use it? Today, I challenge you. Make learning a part of your life. Read, listen, observe, ask questions, experiment, grow. Because the moment you decide to stop learning is the moment you decide to stop evolving. Education isn't just a phase, it's a lifelong commitment to yourself. So, educate yourself every day, because knowledge is power, and power belongs to those who seek it. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that today you will be a little smarter, a little wiser, and a little more prepared for the future than you were yesterday. That's the power of daily learning. It's not about sitting in a classroom or earning a degree. It's about making a conscious choice every single day to grow, to expand your mind, and to challenge yourself in ways you never thought possible. The world around us is evolving at an unprecedented pace. New technologies emerge, industries shift, ideas spread, and knowledge multiplies faster than ever before. The only way to stay relevant, to stay ahead, and to stay in control of your future is to commit to continuous learning. Think about the most successful people in the world. Leaders, innovators, visionaries. What do they all have in common? They never stop learning. They read, they observe, they ask questions, they experiment. They don't rely on what they learned years ago to sustain them. They actively seek new information, new perspectives, and new skills. That's what sets them apart. Intelligence is not about how much you know at any given moment. It's about how adaptable you are to learning new things. And adaptability comes from making learning a daily habit, just like brushing your teeth or exercising. The beauty of daily learning is that it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't require hours of study or a structured curriculum. It can be as simple as reading an article, listening to a podcast, having a conversation with someone who challenges your thinking, or stepping out of your comfort zone to try something new. Every interaction, every mistake, every challenge holds a lesson if you are willing to pay attention. The problem is most people stop learning the moment they leave school. They assume that education is something that happens in the past, a stepping stone to get a job, and once that's done, they settle into routine. But the world doesn't stop changing, so why should you stop learning? Daily learning is not just about gaining knowledge, it's about expanding your mindset. It teaches you to think critically, to question assumptions, and to see the world from different perspectives. It empowers you to make better decisions, to solve problems creatively, and to adapt to challenges with confidence. The more you learn, the more opportunities you create for yourself. Knowledge opens doors, it builds connections, and it gives you an edge in every aspect of life. There is a saying that if you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to grow, who challenge your beliefs, who push you to be better. Seek out knowledge not just from books, but from experiences, from mentors, from unexpected places. The mind is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And just like with fitness, consistency is key. You don't see results from one day at the gym, but over time, the transformation is undeniable. The same applies to learning. Make it a habit, a lifestyle, a non-negotiable part of who you are. Every limitation in life exists only as long as you allow it to. The barriers that hold you back, fear, doubt, uncertainty, are not physical walls but mental ones. And the only way to break them down is through knowledge. Learning is the most powerful tool for breaking boundaries, for stepping into the unknown with confidence, and for turning obstacles into opportunities. The moment you commit to educating yourself every day, you stop being controlled by circumstances and start shaping your own destiny. Think about the things that scare you the most, the challenges that seem too big, the dreams that feel too far away, the situations where you feel unprepared or unworthy. Now ask yourself this: what if the only reason those things seem impossible is that you haven't learned how to overcome them yet? Knowledge transforms fear into action. It turns confusion into clarity. The more you learn, the more power you have to face anything life throws at you. History is filled with stories of people who shattered barriers simply because they refused to stop learning. They didn't let their background, education, or failures define them. Instead, they sought knowledge, honed their skills, and built their own path. The difference between those who break records, start revolutions, and change the world, and those who remain stuck is not luck, it's their mindset. It's their ability to keep learning, keep evolving, and keep pushing forward no matter what. The world is constantly changing, and the most dangerous thing you can do is assume you already know enough. The moment you stop learning is the moment you become outdated. The skills that got you here today may not be enough to take you where you want to go tomorrow. But the good news is, knowledge has no limits. It doesn't care about your age, your past, or your circumstances. It is available to anyone willing to seek it. And once you start absorbing new knowledge, you begin to see the world differently. You realize that the only real boundaries are the ones you refuse to challenge. Every time you learn something new, you expand your world. You unlock new possibilities, new perspectives, and new strengths within yourself. And when you keep pushing, keep learning, keep growing, you don't just break boundaries, you redefine them. You become someone who doesn't wait for opportunities, but creates them. Someone who doesn't accept limits, but dares to push beyond them. So whatever is holding you back today, whether it's a lack of confidence, a fear of failure, or simply not knowing where to start, know that the answer lies in learning. Educate yourself every day, not just for success, but for freedom. Because the more you know, the less power fear has over you. And once you break free from that, there's nothing in the world that can stop you. Education is often mistaken for something that only happens in a classroom, something measured by grades, degrees, and certificates. But the truth is, real learning extends far beyond books. It happens in the moments that test you, in the challenges that push you, and in the experiences that force you to grow. Knowledge gained from books is powerful, but knowledge gained from life is transformational. The key is to embrace both, to educate yourself not just by reading, but by doing, observing, and living. Think about a skill you have mastered. Maybe it's speaking a language, playing an instrument, or even navigating difficult conversations. Now ask yourself, did you learn it just by reading about it? No, you learned by experiencing it, by trying, failing, and trying again. That's because true understanding comes from action. You can read 100 books on leadership, but until you step up and take charge, you won't truly understand what it means to lead. You can study business strategies for years, but until you take a risk, make decisions, and deal with real-world problems, the knowledge remains theoretical. The world is filled with people who know a lot, but do very little. They have degrees, they have information, but they lack experience. And experience is what turns knowledge into wisdom. You can memorize facts, but until you see them in action, they are just words on a page. This is why some of the greatest minds in history, entrepreneurs, innovators, and leaders, have succeeded not because of formal education alone, but because they learned from life itself. They understood that knowledge is only useful when applied. Every day presents an opportunity to learn, not just by reading or studying, but by paying attention. By stepping into new situations, by surrounding yourself with people who challenge your thinking, and by embracing discomfort. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone, and experience is the greatest teacher. Failures, mistakes, setbacks, these are not signs to stop. They are lessons designed to teach you what no book ever can. This is not to say books are not important. They open doors to knowledge that might otherwise take years to acquire. They allow you to learn from the experiences of others, to gain insight without having to make every mistake yourself. But reading alone is not enough. If you want to grow, if you want to truly educate yourself, you must balance theory with practice. You must take what you learn and put it into action. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. So, make learning a daily habit. But don't limit it to just reading or studying. Step out into the world and experience things for yourself. Try, fail, adapt, and grow. Let books be your guide, but let life be your teacher. Because real education is not just about what you know, it's about how you use what you know to change yourself, your future, and the world around you. The world we live in today is not the same as it was yesterday, and it won't be the same tomorrow. Change is constant, and it's happening faster than ever before. New technologies emerge, industries evolve, and ideas spread at lightning speed. What was relevant a decade ago is now outdated, and what seems cutting edge today may be obsolete in a few years. In a world that refuses to stand still, the only way to survive is to keep learning, to educate yourself every day, not because someone tells you to, but because your future depends on it. Think about the industries that have been transformed in just the last decade. The way we work, communicate, shop, and even think has been reshaped by innovation. Companies that refused to adapt disappeared, while those that embraced learning and reinvention became industry leaders. The same applies to individuals. Those who rely only on what they learned years ago are struggling, while those who keep upgrading their knowledge and skills are the ones leading the way. So ask yourself, where do you want to be? On the side that's trying to catch up, or the side that's setting the pace? Education is no longer a one-time event. It's a lifelong commitment. The degrees and qualifications you earn may open doors, but it's your ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn that will determine how far you go. The jobs of tomorrow don't exist yet, and the problems of the future will require solutions that haven't been invented. The only way to prepare is to build a mindset that embraces learning as a way of life. You can't afford to stay stagnant in a world that never stops moving. But learning isn't just about career success. It's about staying relevant in every aspect of life. It's about understanding the changing world so that you can navigate it with confidence. It's about being aware, making informed decisions, and having the knowledge to adapt to whatever comes next. The people who thrive in fast-changing environments are not necessarily the smartest or the most experienced. They are the ones who are the most adaptable. And adaptability comes from continuous education. The best part? Knowledge has never been more accessible. You don't have to wait for a classroom or a formal course. The internet, books, podcasts, and even conversations with the right people can provide you with insights that will keep you ahead. But the question is, are you taking advantage of it? Or are you letting the world change around you while you remain the same? Every single day you have a choice, to grow or to remain where you are. And in a world that moves fast, standing still is the same as moving backward. Educate yourself every day, not just for success, but for survival. Not just for a job, but for a future you can control. Because the world will keep changing, with or without you. The question is, will you change with it? Imagine having a power so strong that it can open doors to opportunities you never thought possible. A power that allows you to transform your life, break barriers, and shape your own destiny. That power exists, and it's called self-education. Unlike formal education, which follows a structured path, self-education is limitless. It doesn't require permission, it doesn't follow a syllabus, and it isn't restricted by age, location, or background. It is the ability to take control of your own learning, to seek knowledge beyond what is taught, and to develop skills that will set you apart in a world that rewards those who never stop growing. The greatest minds in history, from entrepreneurs to artists, from scientists to revolutionaries, were not just products of traditional education. They were self-learners. They had the hunger to seek knowledge beyond what was handed to them, to experiment, to question, and to evolve. Steve Jobs never had an engineering degree, yet he changed the world of technology. Elon Musk didn't wait for a university to teach him about rockets. He read books, studied independently, and made SpaceX a reality. These people didn't wait for someone to tell them what to learn. They took responsibility for their own education. Self-education is what separates those who adapt from those who get left behind. The reality is, the world is changing too fast for traditional education alone to keep up. New skills emerge overnight, industries evolve, and challenges arise that no textbook has the answers to. If you rely only on what was taught to you in school or university, you risk becoming outdated. But if you develop the ability to educate yourself every day, you will always be ahead of the curve. You won't have to wait for opportunities, you'll create them. You won't have to fear change, you'll embrace it. The beauty of self-education is that it's personal. You learn at your own pace, in your own way, and for your own goals. It's about curiosity, about diving deep into subjects that excite you, and about developing skills that make you irreplaceable. It doesn't matter if you start small, reading one article a day, listening to a podcast, or watching an insightful video. What matters is consistency. Because when you make learning a daily habit, you start to see the world differently. You connect ideas faster, solve problems more effectively, and discover new ways to grow. In a world where information is everywhere, ignorance is a choice. You have access to more knowledge than any generation before you. But the question is, are you using it? Are you taking advantage of the resources at your fingertips, or are you letting them pass you by? The most powerful investment you can make is not in stocks, not in property, but in yourself. Because when you educate yourself every day, you don't just prepare for the future. You shape it, and that is the real superpower. Knowledge is everywhere, but the difference between those who grow and those who stay stagnant is action. It's not enough to simply know that education is important, you have to make learning a daily habit. The challenge most people face isn't a lack of resources, it's a lack of intention. They assume learning is something that happens automatically, or something they'll get to when they have time. But real growth happens when you actively seek knowledge, when you commit to educating yourself every single day, no matter how small the step. The first step to daily learning is curiosity. You must develop the mindset that every experience, every interaction, and every challenge is an opportunity to learn. Ask questions, explore new ideas, and challenge what you think you already know. The most successful people are not the ones with all the answers. They are the ones who never stop asking, "What more can I learn?" The moment you believe you know enough, you stop growing. The world doesn't stand still, so why should you? The second step is to create a habit of learning. Just like you make time to eat, exercise, or sleep, you need to make time for education. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Just 15 to 30 minutes a day can make a huge difference. Read a book, listen to a podcast, take an online course, or watch an educational video. The key is consistency. One day of learning won't change your life, but months and years of continuous learning will transform you in ways you can't even imagine. Another way to educate yourself every day is through observation and experience. Pay attention to the world around you. Listen to people who have different perspectives. Engage in conversations that challenge your thinking. Experience teaches lessons that books never can. Every failure, every mistake, and every success carries knowledge, if you are willing to learn from it. The greatest lessons in life don't always come from classrooms. They come from the risks you take, the failures you endure, and the resilience you build. Surrounding yourself with the right people is another critical step. You are a reflection of the people you spend the most time with. If you surround yourself with those who inspire you, who push you to be better, and who constantly seek knowledge themselves, you will naturally absorb that mindset. Seek out mentors, join communities that foster learning, and engage with those who are where you aspire to be. Growth happens when you step into environments that challenge and uplift you. Finally, apply what you learn. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. Don't just read about success, practice it. Don't just study leadership, take charge. Don't just learn new skills, use them. Learning is not just about gathering information, it's about transformation. The real test of education is not how much you know, but how much you grow because of it. Educating yourself every day is not just a habit, it's a way of life. The world is evolving, and you have two choices: keep up or get left behind. The most successful, the most powerful, and the most fulfilled people are not those who stopped learning after school, but those who made education a lifelong journey. The question is, are you ready to do the same? At the end of the day, the choice to educate yourself every day is yours. No one else can do it for you. Knowledge is not handed to you. It is something you must seek, something you must commit to, and something you must apply. The world is moving forward with or without you, and the only way to stay ahead is to keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing your limits. Education is not just about getting degrees or following a curriculum. It's about opening your mind to endless possibilities. It's about taking control of your own growth, challenging yourself every day, and refusing to be limited by what you already know. Every new skill you learn, every book you read, every experience you embrace is shaping your future. The only question is, are you making the most of it? Your potential is limitless, but it is unlocked only through continuous learning. So don't wait for the right moment. Start today. Read, listen, observe, ask questions, take action. Educate yourself every day, not just for success, but for the power to create the life you truly want. Because in a world where knowledge is the key to everything, those who keep learning are the ones who